So, well, I'm speechless. Thank you for the performance. Yeah. And though Zsolt was introducing Francesca as a choreographer, but somehow I felt it was also yours. Like, I know Roman from a very different perspective, not from stage. We have a long-term cooperation with L1danceFest Festival from Jerusalem, and we met there, and your partner over. And somehow we felt a very good energy. I don't know what does it mean, friendship, but maybe it's also friendship on a way. And but I was always listening how you talk and how you deal with your festival, and somehow I felt so common feeling. And while I was watching the piece, I was totally with you.
Okay.
So it was really.
Well, maybe I can say something about the process, because it is a piece from Francesca Foscarini. She brought the concept, and she was looking for a male performer for the first time, because usually she always choreographed for herself. So that was actually the first time that she was making a solo for someone else. And most of the material of the solo is actually built from improvisation. So we talked with Francesca, she gave me some tasks, I improvised, and then she selected part of the improvisation that we reworked to put it together. So of course there is also like a lot of my own way of moving, so maybe that's why you see it there.
And Luca, you work regularly together with Francesca, right?
Yeah, yes.
And can you describe the working process, how you...
Sure. Well, I take care about light, also the light plan. Now you see a really version studio with simple light, white light from the beginning to the end. The show is different, is more articulated. And for the music, I have to say the composer Andrea Cera. This is our original soundtrack for this performance by Andrea Cera. Is a sound engineer and composer, Italian composer. A very good one, because I don't know.
Good music.
Yeah, good music. And for the light and working with Francesca is so you have very freedom to do, but the page is just right already, because you mean Romain speak for itself, for himself. So
was it a challenge for you to find your way?
No.
Competing a little bit?
No, absolutely. No, absolutely. But there is a way. There is a way to just to take light at something there is yet, and it's beautiful yet. So in the original one, you see just some color. Some color I stole by the painter Antonio Bue, because in some way his work begins from the life of Antonio Bue. I stole some color of the city and the country he lived.
Just to give you a little bit of background, it's actually the piece we made quite quickly. We had a couple of residencies, so all in all we probably had like 4 weeks, 5 weeks to make the solo, so we had to work quite fast. But for example, Luca was with us most of them actually, I think. So he followed the full process to be able to work on the light, and also the composer was there a couple of times, and he came through the process to change the music. So it was really, in that sense, it was really a collaboration, because depending on what I was working on with Francesca, everything else was adapted. Also, as Luca said, the original idea that Francesca wanted to work on was she was inspired by Antonio Ligabue, which is a painter, was born in Switzerland but lived in Italy for a very long time. It's a bit like Van Gogh. He was not really recognized when he was alive and became much more famous when he died, or towards the end of his life anyway. And it was someone who was really socially impaired, so he found it really hard to make connection with human beings and felt much more connected with the animal world. So we wanted to work on this state of animality, and for me anyway, there is a big sense of loneliness in that work. So it was, we tried to work with these two ideas. If you look at the painting of Antonio Ligabue, for me anyway, what was really striking is either he did self-portrait, and mostly always from this side, which is also what comes in the piece. And the other thing is, when he was painting animals, he was really often in situation of conflicts. So it was always two animals, for example, a lion and a rooster, or a bird and a snake. And for me, it really transmitted this message of power, or power game, and relation of power between these two animals. And I think that's why he was struggling as well in his life, how to relate to other people. He was also a very eccentric human being, so he used to do some shamanic rituals before painting. When he was doing his self-portrait, hitting himself a lot on the nose, going in the nature with a mirror, trying to catch his reflection, making sound of animals. So all of these influences we try to bring in the work as well.
But also in the movement there were images of animals or animal movements. And I would like to ask the audience, what kind of animals? Did you recognize some animals? And if so, which one? Milyen állat jutott eszetekbe, miközben láttatok a koreográfiát?
Bele lehet kiabálni a lemezbe.
Flamingo. And monkey, horse.
Yeah? I'll tell you afterward which one is right.
Any other?
Also caterpillar.
Huh? Uh-huh.
Lion maybe.
That was a good game. One more chance.
Magyarul is lehet mondani.
A gyík.
Gyík.
Lizard.
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 Valakinek még?
Duck.
Duck. Good.
I should do the solo again.
How many is missing?
Quite a few.
So help us, please.
The animals actually was an interesting improvisation I did with Francesca. I was just improvising and she just threw names of animals at me, and I had to react straight away with some characteristic of the animals. I guess she only picked the one she liked. So there was a robin in there. Like a robin is this little sparrow, like a very fast bird. There was a flamingo. Yeah. One. There's a tiger, which is not so far from the lion. So there's an elephant. Maybe that's the duck. There's a giraffe, but I think that's what you saw as a horse. It's a funny giraffe.
As I already asked you about your visions, images, I would like to immediately open the discussion. If anything else comes to your mind while you were watching, or maybe also like this, the ending is also something which is a very important message here at the end with the video. And if you have anything to share, hogyha valamit vizionáltatok a darab közben, vagy érzékeltetek, gondoltatok, azt most meg lehet osztani velük.
It's too early. You have to digest.
Mi történt az unikornissal, hogy miért most erre az esőre?
So the question is, what happened with the unicorn? Why was it, or him or she, washed away by the rain? That's the question.
Yeah. The work, the video that you saw actually is from a visual artist. Francesca went to the Musée de la Chasse, the hunting museum in Paris, to see an exhibition, and this was featured on a very small screen. And she really loved the video because I think that it was touching this like intimacy that she is really interested about. And she just asked the visual artist if she could use it for the piece. But the message of the video, of course, that I cannot answer because there is the work of the visual artist that unfortunately I haven't met yet. But it was like, you know, from the unicorn starting in white, being washed away and becoming black and disappearing. What I can tell you is, for me, was the meaning of this unicorn, because also I think probably Francesca has a different interpretation of it. So I don't want to talk too much about like Francesca's view of the piece. But for me, it was to have this unicorn at the end was really important because they represented this imaginary animal that we have in all of us, and the fact that the unicorn is not. Well, as far as I know, I haven't seen one, but it's an imaginary animal or a fantastic animal. It felt right to have it projected on me. Like I felt like it was becoming my animal, or the animal that I want to be as a human being, the animal that we all have inside us. So the fact that it disappears also, it gives me the feeling that actually it goes back inside me instead of like going out. So that's for me how I see the unicorn at the end.
Ez így érthető volt, vagy jó? I just asked
Before we finish, I guess we have like 5 more minutes. I also wanted to ask you about Lucky Trainer, because besides being a dancer, being an assistant sometimes for choreographers, being like teacher, you know how it works because you took the classes. How did it start with Lucky Trainer and what is it, if you can explain them a little bit?
So yeah, as Márta said, I try to do many things, sometimes maybe a bit too much. So in 2010 I joined an association, a non-profit association in Berlin called Lucky Trimmer, but actually it was created much before. It was created in 2004. And Lucky Trimmer is a platform in Berlin that showcases work that is 10 minutes maximum long, so really promoting the short format. So not this type of piece, a little bit shorter. And it was started in Berlin because there was no platform for young emerging artists to show their work. So at the time this group of people said, well, if it doesn't exist, let's create it. And they were very proactive in finding a venue, working without any resources until today. So all the people in the association are volunteers. We all work for free because we love it. And we present now every year 7 to 8 short pieces in one of the major theatres in Berlin. And we try, like through cooperation with like Márta or Ofra, who's over there in Maroshalem, we try to actually send other artists like on tour or like give them more opportunities, because we really believe that it's very important to create opportunities for the artists to show their work. My main reason to join the association is I was amazed by the energy and the enthusiasm of these people in the association. And the other thing is, I felt like I've always been very lucky in my career of having opportunities as a dancer, and I felt it was really important for me to create other opportunities for other people to support the community. So that was one of my main reasons to join, and it's also one of the main reasons why I'm still in the association.
And
if you want to know more, just go on the internet and check on the website.
yeah, each year there is an open course, so if you will finish the school and you decide to be a choreographer, just keep an eye on this.
Actually, we also present students. So you don't have to finish school. We take amateurs, professional, any style. That's also one thing important. Is like the only criteria we have is the 10 minutes maximum. So we also show like dance videos, spoken word, circus, hip hop, ballet, you name it, we've done it.
And maybe I can connect this information to the piece which we will see from 8 o'clock, because there is an Israeli duet which we happen to watch in Jerusalem, and Gil Carroll and Corinna Freiman will have a duet in Trafo Studio at 8, and Lucky Trimmer supported also them to be able to be here. And the second piece tonight will be a Latvian choreography, a duet, and it is made by the graduated dancers, choreographers of the Latvian Academy of Culture. Thank you very much. Latvian Academy of Culture, and what is very important that they have a contemporary dance department. And I always point this out, that it's great that there is an academy which has this contemporary field. And so they are almost like you, I mean, who were in the school, and now they are stepping into the big world. So we will continue the evening from 8 in Trafo Studio. If you wish, you can follow us. And again, I would like to really thank you.
Thank you.
And also to Francesca.
Yeah, we think of that.
She's not here tonight, but I think in spirit.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much.